So we're going to move on to the second section here. This is days 11 through 20. So I want you to take a look here. I've got read or listen to Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Great marketing book on there. In the last section, I forgot to mention it. It was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Great books. Audiobooks on these things are phenomenal as well, but you want to pay attention to those. Read, absorb that information, take it in, take it to heart. In Building a Story Brand, he talks in there about how to approach your customer relationship. They are the hero of the story when they come through the door, not you. It's not about you, it's about them. And so figure out what it is that they need. And that's the moral of the story, so to speak, behind building a story brand. All right, so on the planning and action steps, you want to figure out what is your minimum class size and the name of that class. Start thinking about things in terms of marketing, what would draw people in. So I had a class that I had called Forging a Blacksmith's Knife. It's a traditional blacksmith's knife. Crickets were chirping. Nobody signed up for the thing. It didn't go anywhere. It's also called a Viking knife, small Viking knife. It was less commonly used because it wasn't just Vikings who actually used this style of knife. But I changed the name to Forging a Small Viking Knife. All of a sudden, I had a wait list going. So names are important. It casts a vision for your audience as well. And so if you're going to teach a class on welding, make it appropriate for welding, but also then inspire the imagination, right? Come up with some great projects or something like that. And for that first class, it can just be as simple as Foundations of. Right, something like that. We got Foundations of Blacksmithing, our Blacksmithing Foundations class. It's a very popular class because people who are coming in introductory, they don't necessarily want to start off with, I'm going to make a Damascus sword kind of a thing. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they're very happy with doing a Foundations class, and it really lets them know what they can expect when they come in. If your branding for your name does not match what you're offering in your content, you're going to have a problem, okay? All right, so that's what we want to do. Now, for the first one, the first class that you do, I suggest that you make it a free introductory offer and then ask them for a recommendation. If you can get referrals out of that, get feedback from them on that, they're going to be happy and you're going to be happy. And Alex Hormozi actually says this when he's talking about giving stuff away for free. For that first one there, for that first class, you're getting a deal. If you give it away for free, you're getting feedback and you're getting valuable information. And especially if they give you a 5-star review, you're getting the better end of that bargain. So consider giving that away for free. Treat it as market research, okay? Now, by now you should have a good idea of where you're going to hold this class, your location. You want to continue going down that path, though. And in conjunction with your insurance, you want to get both of those things locked in. That's why I started in section 1 with insurance, because you're going to need to start the process there. Move that into section 2. We want to start dialing this in and start pushing for a conclusion on that. So know where your first class is going to be held. Know that you've got insurance in place. If you've got that done already, congratulations, you moved a whole lot faster than I did on that. And so I was actually pushing it quite a long time trying to get all that stuff dialed in. Of course, I didn't have anybody telling me what I needed to do. So take that to heart. That was a pain point for me. Now, you're going to want to evaluate your equipment needs. If you're a welder, make sure you've got enough welders for your students. If you're doing plumbing, make sure that you've got all of the tools necessary, not just your set, but enough for your students to participate in. Determine your class size. If you can only handle 4 students, maybe dial that back to 3 or 2 for this first class, okay? That eases your equipment needs, and you can still practice with teaching them. They get a great experience out of it and learn a ton. And so it's even a handshake there that you can actually give them good value for their money, even if it's free for their time, okay? Now, ask people, if they would do you a favor by joining your class. Getting that first class filled, it's a great feeling. I remember when my first students came in, I went home and I told my wife, it's official, we've got a school. It's a great feeling, even if they don't pay. I literally went around to my neighborhood and I said, I'm teaching this class. We've known you for a long time. Would you bring your kids? We're going to set this up. Feel free to stay. You could drop them off and come back again, whichever you want to do. And I learned a ton through that process. And you'll be surprised, I think, at the number of people who will take you up on that. They've got a free Saturday. They'll want to come in there and take part in that class. It's invaluable, though. And so go ahead and just kind of put yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable doing it. Sometimes it feels weird doing it. You'll get better at it. You'll get practiced. And so lean into that and engage with your neighbors.